Simplify and state the non-permissible value as restrictions on the variable. So in these three examples, we are performing a division of rational expressions. So just like when you're dividing fractions, you can rewrite this as a multiplication. And that will be the first step here. So we're going to start by rewriting this as a multiplication. So we're going to take the first rational expression, the first quotient, and just copy that down. Like that. The division becomes a multiplication, so times. And then we're going to take the reciprocal of the second rational expression. The reciprocal simply means we flip it upside down. So it's going to say b over b plus 3. And now we can see that this b cancels that b. We can also see that this binomial here can be factored. We can factor out a 3. So let's do that. So if we factor out a 3, I'm going to get 3 as the greatest common factor, and we're left with b plus 3. And then the only thing that we have left in the denominator is b plus 3. And we can now see that the two binomials, b plus 3, just cancels, and we're left with 3. Because it's an irrational expression, we need to identify non-permissible values. So if we go back here, so b can clearly not be 0. Over here, b cannot be negative 3. And that's about it. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to just flip the 0 and negative 3 around. So we have the smaller number first, and those are going to be our non-permissible values for this rational expression. In b, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start by multiplying by the reciprocal, which is going to be 9a cubed over 24a minus 4. And so we can cancel a few things. We can also factor here. So this a can cancel against one of the a's here. So we're going to be left with a squared. We can divide 3 by 3 to get 1. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. And now, in the next step, we're going to factor this binomial. We're going to factor out the greatest common factor. In the numerator, what do we have left? We have 6a minus 1 times 3a squared. And in the denominator, so we're going to factor out a 4 as our GCF, which is going to leave us with 6a minus 1. We can now see that these two binomials will cancel. And we are left with, in the numerator, 3a squared over 4. And then our non-permissible values. Over here, it's 1 over 6. This is going to be the same thing, 1 over 6. Here it's going to be 0. And those are the only two non-permissible values. Let me just put them in the right order. 0 and 1/6. In C, again, we have a division. The second binomial here, 64 minus r squared, can be written as a fraction like that. So let's convert this to a multiplication. So r plus 8 over 8r times 1 over 64 minus r squared. The following binomial is a difference of squares. So we can factor that. And we're going to get square root of 64 is 8. So 8 plus r, 8 minus r. Okay. And now we can see that this cancels against this. The order of the terms doesn't matter. And we're going to be left with, in the numerator, a 1. In the denominator, an 8r times 8 minus r. And we just have to determine the non-permissible values. So R over here, R cannot be equal to 0 and positive 8. And if we go back and check, it's the same thing. There are no additional non-permissible values, so we're done.